I finally found it. Here's the original black plastic pipe, buried pipe that I tied in underneath the house several years ago. And I couldn't remember exactly where it was, but also here's the wire, or the conduit that I have going to the shed. Now, luckily, I was able to find this. I really got frustrated digging because although I had markers in place for where it went into the building and where it came out from underneath the house, I couldn't hit it. I was digging manually for a while, and I finally gave up, and I said, well, I'm going to turn off the power, so the breaker's off, there's no power going out there, and turn off the water, so in case I ripped the line, I wouldn't have a geyser here. Luckily, I was digging very carefully when I got up the hill here because I knew I was getting close, or it felt like I was. And so I dug very gently, and the teeth of the digger actually caught the pipe, and I saw the earth rise on each side, and I stopped immediately. And luckily, I did not rupture the pipe or the wires. So that's a rare thing for me. Usually, I'm going to destroy something, and I'm going to spend half an afternoon at Lowe's. So next, after doing that, I'm turning the digger around, and what I'm doing is this row of hollies here I have at the edge of the yard. This black plastic pipe is going to go through here, and there's actually a space between the hollies. I'll go around the other side for a better look. Show you what I'm doing here. When you go on the back side of the hollies here, there's a deep ravine down here. It's about 25 feet down, and I'll be digging a trench underneath the hollies to run my pipe out here. And that's what the plan is, and that's what I'm going to be doing. I had a few crazy ideas involving string to clear the way so I wouldn't damage my hedge here, digging underneath it or through it between the plants here, because I've got a lot of foliage here at the ground, and it'll be very slow to grow back if ever. So what I've done is put two 2x6s, I forced them in the ground and catapulted them up in the branches to clear me an opening so I can put my trench through here. So I'm going to move the trencher a little bit closer and get to work. Okay, so this afternoon I ripped a weld on my left outrigger. Now my outriggers are in pretty bad shape anyway. I've had several people comment online about how I need to straighten them out and reinforce them. I mean, many comments, and I know that's true. But I've been putting it off to the end of the season, but it looks like I'm gonna have to do a little bit of work now anyway because the weld ripped. I do more crab walking than towing. It's Matter of fact, I don't know that I've ever towed my trencher. So these get a pretty steady workout, and the welds were already, it looks like whoever owned it before me had already done some pretty nasty looking welds on this thing. So had one rip open, so that stops my project for today. I did get the trench dug from the top of the hill for the black plastic line to route it down through the woods. And I'm gonna get that in place, but it looks like the trencher is gonna be sitting here on a block for a couple of days until I get back into town and have a chance to work on that outrigger. Here's a detail of what happened to my outrigger holder here. Over time, really poorly done weld finally ripped apart, and when it did, it took off some of the steel here. See how thin the steel is on this thing. So I need to reinforce this thing. I need to reshape it, weld a little more plate on there. Meantime, since I'm going to be out of town this week, what I'm going to do is check on the price of just a replacement. I was really surprised at how inexpensive the other replacement parts for the Harbor Freight trencher are online. I mean, I think it's like $125, or anyway, less than $130 for the cylinders, which is pretty cheap compared to other cylinders anywhere really. So I'll see. I need to repair this, but I don't have a lot of time on my hands these days. So that's where we are now. Well, despite the breakdown on the trencher, I did get the trench completed, as you can see, and I have the plastic line buried in here and graded. I'm getting ready to cover that up, except for the portion up there I need to leave open in order to tie this blue PEX line in to my underground black plastic pipe here. And then I can cover it all up here. But for now, I'm just going to cover up this portion so I can pass through the yard without moving vehicles.